Peace and blessings. This is Nubia I, the Raw Food Goddess, the Womb Priestess and Holistic Practitioner. Okay, my women who run with the womb. I came outside my house, and I'm at the beautiful Lake Merritt. You know I love this space. I haven't been here in months and months, and I used to live around here, so you're going to see, as you watch the video, you'll see a lot of people walking by. It's a very popular area where people walk or run after work or school or whatever that they do. And so it's wonderful for our series today. And it's so wonderful for our second video, which is getting out in nature. So let me tell you what I was thinking today, which really came to me, and I really was inspired by a client today. And she's a client actually that's in the group. And I was really telling her, she was telling me about how much trouble she was having in one of the series that we did, which was called Cleaning House, and that she was still there, which is our second series. And she was really talking about what could she do to make her room more inviting, because she doesn't even at this point want to sleep in it. She doesn't feel the right vibe. So I gave her suggestions about if your bed is underneath a window, change it to the position where it's right in front of the window. But I also thought about something. I told her intuitively to get plants. So let's think about plants. Let's think about this world that we're living in, and we're so concerned about the carbon footprint. And we all know that plants actually absorb all kinds of pollution, carbon, just negative vibrations. It basically cleans the air. And if we didn't, and that's what they're doing. One thing that people are doing to so-called combat global warming is they're planting more plants. So plants have an ability to suck up all that negativity and negative energy. So if it can do that for the entire planet and for the environment, what could that do for your space? So let's talk about getting it out in nature, but also talk about bringing nature into our space. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about what ways can we bring nature into our personal space. And one way to do it is to buy you some plants. It's so funny. I just acquired 2 plants, a palm tree and I guess another kind of palm tree, and I didn't even realize that when I bought them, that was the first day, or at least the first week of getting out in nature. Another thing I was telling her was, what if you want to vibe up your vibe in your space? What if you want to bring in more love or affection or more luck? You know, flowers. We talk about flower essence. We talk about aromatherapy, but really, what is the aromatherapy? What is flower essences or essential oil? It's the essence of the flowers. And so, because it's spring, we want to start getting and bringing in nature into our space. So I really invite you to get flowers, whether you want to pick them, ask somebody if they have beautiful flowers in their yard. You might actually want to ask them, can you pick roses? What I've been doing is I have a rose bush, and they're blooming and they're so beautiful. And I've been thinking, oh, I want to buy roses at the farmer's market. And I go, wait a second, I can cut my own roses, put them in water, and allow them to just vibe up the entire space. And the smell is wonderful. Also, I recommend lilies. Lilies have a smell that is so absolutely incredible. You won't need incense. You won't need scented candles. Nature does it all. And it has a way of, remember, like flower essences, each one does something. We got eucalyptus and tea tree oil that's antibacterial, antifungal. We have ylang ylang, which is a mild sedative. We have lavender, which is actually induces lucid dreaming. So what would it be if we actually picked lavender and brought it into our space and sprinkle it around our pillow and sprinkle it amongst our beds? That would be so beautiful. And having the roses that we already outside, somebody would be happy to allow you to have roses, or you may go to a public place and see rose bushes. So I want to encourage you to get out in nature and bring nature into your space, because there's times when you won't be able to go outside, but you want to still be able to get that nature. Another thing I gave the sister was how to vibe up the room. If you have carpet, You can do something with taking sea salt, and sea salt, well, obviously is from the sea. So we're also bringing nature. Even better still, before I tell you that, you can actually go to the sea, get yourself a mason jar or a jar that has a top or a cap on it, and actually bring that seawater into your home and put it on your altar. And so again, you're bringing that nature and pouring a little bit of it inside your sea bath that you create at home. You actually put in sea water from the ocean. Wouldn't that just be so amazingly beautiful? And it's a way to bring that into your home. But the recipe I gave her was, you can get a bowl or a glass bowl or a cup, and you take 1/4 cup of sea salt, and you add about 3 to 5 drops of lavender essential oil, and you sprinkle it on your carpet just like you would a carpet cleaner. And once you do that, which is so great, is then after you let it sit for about 20-30 minutes, and then you vacuum it, and the smell in the room is so amazing. Remember, salt pulls out stagnant energy. Salt is a cleanser, and it's also a detoxification tool. So when you know that you want to detoxify your space, look no further than nature. So it's not always about getting out, because sometimes we're not going to be able to. It's going to be a really rainy day. In some places, I know Sister Taliba, you're still in Minnesota. It's still actually snowing in places. So, but you can always buy flowers or get flowers or borrow flowers, whatever way you want to do it. I want to remind you of that because it lifts your mood. Also, nature makes you more beautiful. Nature, think about nature. Nature is all about creativity. If we want to talk about God or goddess, the higher spirit, the most high, whatever you call spirit, think about it in the way that the greatest artist is the creator. And the creator has given you every single thing you need to stay healthy, to stay well, and it's in nature. So the flowers, the way they bloom, the way they look like beautiful yonis, the salt, the sea salt from the oceans, the water from the river, all these things are tools that the Creator created for you to be creative with. So this week, your challenge is, how creative can you be with nature? What will you do with the seawater you collect from the ocean? What will you do with the river water that you collect from the river or even the lake? What will you do with the flowers? Where will you put these flowers? What will you do with rocks and stones and things that you can collect, and even seashells from the ocean? I want you to bring those into your space and create a spring altar with stuff that you find in nature. So the whole altar has to be dedicated to things that you find in nature. You cannot go in the store and buy any of these items. You have to find them in nature. And remember, you're not just finding them, they're finding you. They're calling you. They have a message for you. And I want you, sisters, to really bring that in. Nature for me has always brought me great introspective thoughts. It's always brought me good luck. It's always made me feel better. Also remember, we can use nature as a grounding method to release toxins from our bodies, particularly our feet. So also getting your feet in the dirt. Even collecting dirt, that's another thing. I know people who go all over the world and collect the dirt of the different places that they've been in. I mean, if you travel the world, or even different parts of the United States. I mean, I'm sure the dirt in Arizona is probably different than the dirt in Oakland. And so even the color, the red dirt. So start collecting dirt and creating something beautifully artistic with it. And allow the spirit or the sprites or the fairies. You know, another thing about nature is, just like we have an aura that protects us, that lets people know how we're feeling, how healthy we are, plants actually have sprites or fairies or things or energy around them that actually protects them. So when you are going into nature and you're borrowing herbs or you're picking herbs, make sure that you're giving thanks to nature and the spirits and the sprites and the fairies that are around them, and ask them to grant you a wish. Think about getting into nature as a form of asking. Just like we drive fast so that we can have a spiritual breakthrough, nature actually has that same thing. And so this week, we're focusing on getting out in nature, but then bringing it back into our space. So I want to make sure too, I want to go over a few housekeeping things. I was unable to do the group conference call last Sunday, so we're going to do it this Sunday. So instead of the first and third Sunday of the month of April, we're doing it the second and the fourth Sunday of the month of April. So same time, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, both days, and I'm looking forward to it. And remember, we're in nature, so we're going to talk about it. I'm going to share my experience of LA. If you go to my regular YouTube channel, I put up one of the videos that I did with Sister Monisha Garner. She is in Women Who Run With The Womb. She's absolutely gorgeous. She is my soul sister. And I want people in the LA area to go to her and get colonics. So she's also, that to me was part of nature. We were actually using the water, and we'll talk about that more in the group conference call, but we were using water to facilitate some deep, deep healing. And a lot came up for me during that time, during the colonic, and I want to share with you. She did a great job. She's a wonderful queen, and I'm very thankful to her. It's funny that the universe, when you're in these series, one thing that me and my client talked about today was how when we're in the series, things start to happen. She talked about the cleaning house series and how all these exes, all these ex-boyfriends or ex-lovers or ex-friends actually started calling and coming up. And when those things start to happen, it's you were holding on to something or somebody. You were not forgiving. And so when you're not, and when you decide to let go, you're actually letting go of the pain and the hurt, and those people will come in by to check in. And me and her were talking about that forgiveness thing, and I was thinking, isn't it amazing how forgiving nature is? Let's just think about the plants that's in your house, and they grow in awkward positions. That plant gets pushed. Sometimes the branch comes off. We knock it down occasionally. We do all kinds of things. But if we pick that plant back up and give it a little nurturing, it will stay strong for us. It will stay alive for us. It is so forgiving. It doesn't judge you. It does not dislike you. It's almost like animals, which if you want to talk about being in their natural state, how natural is an animal? How instinctual is animals? They also really have everything to do with nature. But look at that tree as quite forgiving. We cut the trees down. We use the trees for fire, for warmth. Or sometimes we use it just for green. And the tree keeps growing for us. And the tree keeps surviving for us. So if you can't forgive, remember how forgiving nature is for you and has always been for you and will continue to be for you. So what I want you to do is commune with nature, but not just on the outside. I want you to bring it in the inside and create something beautiful. And I challenge all of you to take pictures, to put them up in the group about what you did with your dirt, your sand, your water, whatever those things, the flowers you collected, the herbs, and take pictures and put them up. Nature has a message for you. And sometimes if you take the lavender leaves and you put them underneath your pillow, nature will reveal what that message is for you. Anyway, we are outside. You see all these people coming by. Like everybody looking at us like they don't see us every day. So maybe they don't, right? Y'all, LA was a magnifique. It was magnifique. It was so amazingly beautiful. I'm going to put up a video tomorrow with me and Taudi Ma'ara and him talking about the power of colonics. May nature love you. May nature hold you. May nature forever feed you and nurture you. This is Nubia I, the Raw Food Goddess, the Womb Priestess, and the Holistic Practitioner. You have your assignments. Peace and blessings.